Hey guys, this is Will, fellow 2CCX member. Had a couple of other members in the group reach out to me and ask if I'd be willing to do a little training video for you guys about how to set up and test your funnel and your ads. Just going to shoot you straight. Doing this off the cuff. I do have this deck that I put together real quick to kind of give you guys some step-by-step action items in order to handle this. So I'm going to go just jump right in there and kind of go through exactly what you need to do in order to set up your ads, test your ads, and your funnel, and what metrics you should be looking for from the ad side. It sounds like a lot of you are really stuck on what to do and what to look for. Just going to be honest, I'm going to make some broad assumptions about some things, so there's probably going to be some vernacular or terminology that you might not be familiar with, but I'll do my best to keep it simple and just really just follow these steps exactly, and I promise you it will help you to get your ads going. These are the exact steps that I'm using on my funnels and my ads right now. So I'm going to just jump right in. So 4 key areas that I'm going to cover to help you with today. Step number 1, writing your ad copy. Step number 2, how to set up your ads. Step number 3, how to set up your reporting and business manager. So I'm actually going to give you an behind the scenes look at my personal ad account of what I'm running for lead generation for my e-commerce agency, as well as lead generation for my funnels that I'm running, so you can see exactly what is set up, and you know that I'm actually getting leads, pretty reasonable cost per lead, somewhere around $15, and as much or as little as about $4 to $5 for some of my my future stuff. So obviously you guys know that 2CCX and Russell covers copy endlessly about hook, story, offer. So I'm going to show you the exact ads that I'm running, as well as kind of just give you a little bit of a framework on how to start. So before you ever go into Business Manager, I want you guys to write your copy in a document, in a notepad, somewhere else that's not in Business Manager. I want you guys to really be thinking and digging into the mindset of the type of person that you're trying to communicate with. So that literally the first sentence of your copy should start with your target customer's #1 pain point. So this is your hook, right? And I'll show you how I'm doing this. Whether you need to brainstorm 5 to 10 hooks, sometimes I write 2 to 3 different variations of my copy before I finally settle on one. And the inspirations come to me at different times. So it could be when I'm at the gym, or even when I'm driving. Obviously, I don't recommend writing copy while you're driving, but those ideas kind of just come whenever they come. And so I would write those down whenever they come to you. Try to boil down those hooks to the 1 or 2 that you love the most. So use that as literally as your first sentence, followed by discussing the problem and demonstrating your understanding of their situation. Extremely important that you do not want to talk about yourself typically, or obviously there's exceptions to the rule to that, but you want to communicate with them and not talk about yourself or your solution just yet. So quantify the problem and discuss that. That's basically that story portion of your ad, right? The goal of this ad is to sell them on that click, to move them through the landing page. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make so often, even myself in the past, is trying to like give everybody everything right up front. And remember, like, you want to pique curiosity at the level of your ad and sell the click, right? And then at the end of the copy, give them a call to action. This is in addition to your headline, as well as the call to action button. So I like to add an additional call to action within my copy, as well as a link to my landing page. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like too. So again, so one thing that I didn't actually add here, so I'm going to edit this live. With your headline, there's a couple different formats that you could try. Typically, I like to lead with a similar type of pain point hook here as well. Sometimes I'll do a different variation than what I'm actually doing in the first sentence of my copy. So you really want to use something like that there. So remember, the creative stops the scroll. The headline piques curiosity to move them into the copy typically. And then the hook or the first sentence of the copy is what gets them to read and basically open your post, if you will, right? So when you're writing your copy, be thinking about the psychology and the purpose of each of those pieces to your ad. So these are two of several ads that I'm running right now. There's a different purpose for this ad on the left versus this ad on the right. The reason that I included the went live dates on here, and I'm going to give you guys an expert tip here at the end after we go through these 4 pieces of how to generate social proof really fast. So these ads have only been live for a couple of days, but as you can see, I've got a ton of likes and engagement on these ads early on. So the ad on the left is for the training, that course that I'm building out right now. So this is a little bit against the grain in the way that I actually set this ad up. So this is a little bit of like an advanced way of doing things. So this ad was actually set up as a post. So I physically added this post to my Will Perry Facebook page, right? So it looked very much more organic. So there's obviously you can tell on the right, this is a straight up ad. This is more of a direct response ad. This one, however, on the left looks like a post, right? It looks very organic. It looks like something that I just posted on my wall. And I came very much from that first person, like very conversational style, which I did kind of just mention previously to not do unless you're like more familiar with how to really do this sort of ad, if you will, or this strategy. So already I think I've gotten in a couple of days, I think 25 or 30 leads. I don't know, let's see. I've gotten 25 leads on this ad already in just a few days. So I'm kind of going through the optimization process now on the ad side, but this ad is working and it gives you guys kind of an idea on what I'm doing. So, you know, for me, my hook was actually more so leading with curiosity versus targeting a pain point. So you can see that here in my headline as well as the first line of my copy. So this is, again, for the course, all centered around e-commerce and how to launch e-commerce products. The second ad is for my agency, in which I actually do the tactical portion of helping clients scale their ads. So targeting a pain point, you know, so many times I see e-commerce companies that are in that, you know, 15 to 30K range, and they've been able to get themselves there by themselves, which is awesome. You know, they've been able to bootstrap things, test ads themselves, get things going. But it's one of their biggest pain points is how do I scale? Where do I go from here? And so often it has so much more to do with just Facebook ads. It's an entire ecosystem efficiency and sales process thing, which is basically what my ad goes into, is really discussing and quantifying the problem. So just a quick recap, write your ad copy first before you ever go and build out your ad. Step number 2. So now I'm actually going to talk about the actual setup of the ad. So I don't want you guys going into Business Manager, especially if you've never written your ad copy before, before having that ad copy done. And so I think I'll probably go into Business Manager at this point, but I'm going to go through these steps first. So I'm just going to hit on these bullet points and then I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So a lot of what I'm going to share with you here is going to be very much like time-saving capabilities in terms of like your labeling and what to do and things like that. Obviously, you know, I can go in extensive detail on all of this, but just follow these steps, do it like exactly, and it might only take you guys 10 or 15 minutes to get this set up. So first point would be to, again, operating on an assumption that you've been in Business Manager before, create a conversion campaign. So let's actually go to that. So create a conversion campaign. You can see here that I mentioned label top of funnel staging, and I'll mention the reason why. Come on, go away. Then don't worry about your targeting just yet. What we're going to do is place the ad copy and the ad creative into the editor area, then hit publish. And then I'm going to show you what it means to grab the post ID and then repeat that for the second and third variations of your ad. So I would recommend having two different, or at least two different types of either ad copy or ad creative. So if you love one version of your ad copy, I would highly recommend testing two types of ad creative. So for example, I've run this same exact ad with the same copy, but with different ad creative. So I really had this idea to shoot this image so that it was more of a directional visual cue for someone to take action. And then I also had, so this is pretty new. And then I also had an ad that generated, I don't know, like 60, 70 leads, but with just different ad creative. So don't worry about that just yet. So be testing, or sorry, let me recap. I know I'm going a little bit fast. Have two pieces of ad creative ready to go and test one form of ad copy first and have a second version of ad copy at the ready if your first version bombs, okay? So, so just to be a little bit more clear and concise about that. Okay, so let's dive directly into Business Manager. I'm gonna show you exactly how to set this up. So as you can see here, I have a ton of different campaigns. This is one of my ad accounts. So I've got this campaign here labeled top of funnel staging. And this is how you guys are going to be able to really maximize and magnify social proof. And I'll show you exactly how to do that on all of your ads. And if that doesn't make sense to you, I would really recommend that you book an audit call with Michelle. And you know, once you get into Business Manager even more, that'll make more sense. So, all right, so we're gonna create a new campaign, label it staging, right? So actually, let's just go through this live as if I was doing this for the first time. So I'm gonna hit create. I'm going to hit conversions. And then once Business Manager pops up, or once that pops up, I'm going to label this top of funnel staging, and I'm just going to label this test since we are just doing this as a test. So I'm going to hit continue. At this level, do not worry about your ad set name or your targeting or anything like that. You'll come back to that later. There's a specific reason for setting this up this way. So I want to, at this level, you guys want to probably be using the complete registration conversion objective or the lead conversion objective. So right now I'm using the complete registration conversion objective. If you need more information about how this works, basically Facebook has different event types with the pixel, and you have to place the event type code on your funnel in order for Facebook to be able to deliver the type of result that you're looking for. So essentially, I have this complete registration code on the second page of my funnel. So first page is the squeeze page, second page is the thank you page. So I have that complete registration code on the thank you page of my funnel. Tons of troubleshooting, years and years of heartache went into figuring that out. So you guys might not even the best place that I would recommend to check that out is cfprotools.com. And there's a bunch of like advanced ClickFunnels coding capabilities there. So So you set it up for complete registration, and that way you can tell Facebook, I want people to basically fill out my opt-in form on my squeeze page. So again, don't worry about the targeting just yet. Don't worry about the budget at all. Don't worry about the optimization and delivery. I'll go into that more specifically next. So now I'm just going to hit continue. And now it's going to take me to the ad level. So just for the sake of this example, I'm just going to label this test. I need to pick the page that I want to run the ad from. So as you can tell, I have access to like a ton of pages. But pick your page, your Facebook business page here. If you are willing to run your ads through Instagram, you can run them here as well. And so this is where obviously you're going to start building your ad. So I would highly recommend that you guys do video ads because your click-through rate will be probably 2 to 3 times higher than running a static image ad. That's actually the next phase that I'll be running for my lead gen, is putting together video ads. I'm actually pretty happy with the success of the static images, but I feel as though I can take that a step further and get more bang for my buck by putting together some videos. So you want to select image or video here and then upload your ad creative. So for example, I'll show you how I built out one of my recent ads. So we'll just use that black image again. So select the image. Now I'm going to come down to my copy area, right? So you already have the copy already written, so just pop that in. I'm just going to go, this is a test. Then make sure that you put your funnel URL in there. So one of mine is, I think it's audit.willperry.co/apply, right? So get that in there. And then your headline, we talked about that earlier. So at this point, you're just copying and pasting. And then decide which call to action button you would like to use. At this stage, if you guys are doing lead generation, I would recommend that you use the learn more call to action. And then from here, you can put a little bit more detail, like you can see where it says apply for e-commerce audit. You know, you could put something like, watch me 10x your sales. So something like that. Obviously, I just made that up on the spot, but write something in there that makes sense for you in order to drive that click. So at this stage, your ad's already set up, right? Because you did the hard work ahead of time by having your copy already pre-written, and it's basically copy-paste. So at this point, we're just going to hit confirm. And then basically what we're going to do is let that ad publish, and we're going to come back to it later. Again, there's a difference between setting up a staging campaign and then setting up campaigns that you actually want to go live. And the purpose for this is you hold all of the ads that you want to run at this staging campaign level. Basically what happens is you have, let me turn this off too so I don't forget about it so it doesn't run on me. Yeah, let me turn this off. So you want to be able to, basically how Facebook works is when you have, every ad has an ad ID, and you can use that ad ID like literally using the same exact ad in order to run that same exact ad to whatever audiences that you are testing. So this is how you see ads with hundreds and thousands of likes, comments, and shares because of using the ad ID and just copying that ad ID over into other audiences. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So at this level, you're pretty much going to leave this staging campaign alone. So just let that be, and let's head back to the deck. So then follow that same process for creating ads with your version 2 and or version 3 of your ads. So you're going to put those ads right here in the staging campaign within this staging audience. So if all you're doing is just testing ad creative, just duplicate this ad, hit duplicate, keep it in that same audience, I like to label my ads so that I can track them. So I'm just going to call this ad number 2. And then if all you're doing is testing your ad creative, what I'm going to do is just change the image here and then publish that one as well. So I'm just going to change this image. Let's say it's this one. And then I'm going to publish that too. So maybe this one here with the orange overlay winds up getting me a better click-through rate just by nature of it stopping more schools. So that's basically what you would want to do there. And then if you have a version 3 with a different ad creative or a different ad copy, you would do the same thing. So not super complicated, just follow those steps. All right, let's go back to the deck. So at this stage, we've created the campaign, we've labeled it top of funnel staging, and we've repeated that for ads number 2 and number 3. So let's actually touch on this aspect here of grabbing the post ID. So remember how we talked about magnifying social proof and how to do that? So this is basically how that works. So what you're going to do is stay in your staging campaign, hit the preview button. Then you'll see a little arrow icon up here next to add preview. Click that. Then you're going to click Facebook post with comments. Click that. Then basically what that's going to do is open your ad within Facebook. And this number here that's on the back end of this backslash is basically your ad ID, right? So you can see this is the test ad that we just created. So I'm going to copy that ad ID. And what I want you guys to do is like go post that, you know, in a notepad or something, right? So I can go ad 2 and then ad ID, and then I'm going to do the same thing for ad number 1. So I'm going to go back to Business Manager. We're going to use those ad IDs later. Don't worry about it right now. All you're doing at this moment is just copying those ad IDs so that you can use them later. So I'm going to grab the ad ID from ad number 1. And this is actually how I do it, guys. Like I save the ad IDs and then I go back. So I have both my ad IDs and they're right there ready for me to use. So now basically what we're going to do is we're going to actually start creating your live campaigns. So let's go back to step number 2 again. So this is part 2 of step number 2. We're going to create your first campaign. We're going to label it top of funnel lead generation. Then we're actually going to input your targeting and your budget. Oh, typo. And then this is when we're going to use the ad IDs, is when we get down to the ad level. Okay. So let's go back to Business Manager, and I'm going to create a fresh campaign. So I'm actually going to hit create campaign again, stay with the conversion objective, and now I'm going to label this top of funnel lead gen. So this is where you guys are going to run your ads for building your lists and starting to get people filling out your squeeze page. Okay, so we're just going to hit continue. And this is where, so for me, some of the audiences that I'm testing, because I'm in e-commerce, I'm running ads to people who, I'm doing lookalike audiences, but I'm also doing interest-based targeting. So I'm running audiences, or I'm running ads to people who are interested in Shopify and are also following Russell Brunson. So this is just one of many audiences that I have. So I like to label my ad set names by my actual targeting. So I'm going to literally label this Shopify plus Russell Brunson. Again, make sure that you're using the complete registration event type here. And then move down to your targeting. So for me, my target audience, I'd prefer to work with individuals 25 plus, male or female, and then who live in the United States. So then you can move down to your interest-based targeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the Shopify interest type. I'm going to select that. And then if any of you have been through John Franks's training, he recommends doing layered interests. So what that would look like is actually doing narrowing that audience. So as you can see, I don't think that's right. So Facebook is telling me that Shopify audience is roughly 15.9 million. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want a little bit more of a qualified type of individual here. So I'm actually going to make sure that all of those people who have shown an interest in Shopify, that I also want them to like Russell Brunson as well. This tells me that it's a little bit more of a warm suspect, if you will, or a prospect, the more of a higher level of intent of someone that I want to target. So that's literally it, guys, with the targeting. Obviously, I'm running many different audiences, and what I really recommend that you do is have several ad sets, and I'll show you what that looks like. So basically, at this stage, leave it on for auto placements, which basically means that your ads will run in Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram. At this level, leverage Facebook's algorithm and let it start delivering your ads to what it thinks is the best way to start. I do highly recommend that you start with a daily budget of $20 per day per ad set. And the reason why is it's going to allow you to get data quick enough in order to be able to start seeing what metrics are working for you and whether your ads are working for you. Anything less than that per ad set, it's really that dabbling death, basically, that Julie was talking about, right? Is that, it's just going to be so slow. And, if you're running ads for $5 a day, you're going to need to wait 4 times as long, right? I can have a decent amount of data on $20 a day within 3 to 4 days, basically, of starting to see how my ads are performing. So at this level, making sure that your ads are on for delivery, so stay with conversions, and then change this conversion window to 1-day click or view, especially if you're running for lead generation. Most likely people are going to opt in right away, which is why we want to use the 1-day click or view. And at this stage, we've pretty much set up the whole ad set. So you've got your ad set name, what you're optimizing for leads wise. You've entered your demographic information, you've entered your targeting, you've entered your placements, you've entered your budget, and we've entered our optimization objective. So now we're just going to move over to continue. So basically at this stage, I just set up a test ad again. And then what we're going to go do is, oh wait, no, actually, why don't we just do this? So we already have our ad IDs, right? So this is where I'm going to grab my ad ID. And I'm going to, instead of recreating the ad and going through the editor and everything here again, right? I'm actually going to hit use existing post. And what you're going to do is enter the post ID right here. And what's going to happen is the ad that you've already created, oh, that's awesome. Here, oh, it's probably because I'm on the wrong business page. Let's try this. There we go. All right, so I had the wrong page. That's why it wasn't showing up. I had one of my client pages up there. So what's going to happen is Facebook's going to pull the ad that you've already created, and you don't even have to recreate the ad. Really, 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 really important that you guys follow this step. This is how you're going to be able to accumulate all those likes, comments, and shares onto all your ads. I know that I could go into this in significant more detail, so it's really important for you guys to dig into this further if it doesn't make sense. But I'm trying to just give you the exact step-by-steps on what to do so you can get your ads up. Okay, so this ad is ready to go. I've already done the work ahead of time. I'm basically ready to publish it. So I'm going to hit confirm. And then it'll pull it into my Shopify and Russell Brunson ad set within my top of funnel lead generation campaign. So once that publishes, now I'm going to go back to the ad set, just make sure that I'm clicked on the right one. So I'm on this ad set. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to duplicate ad number 1, and now I'm going to add ad ID for ad number 2. So this ad is going to pull in my lead gen campaign within my Shopify and Russell Brunson ad set. So that's going to duplicate. I'm going to grab my ad ID from ad number 2. So now I'm just going to enter this into this area again, submit, and then you guys will see ad number 2 pop up here. And what this basically shows you is that now I've got both of my ads, these 2 ads, ad number 1 and ad number 2, running to my Russell Brunson and Shopify audience. And basically what Facebook's going to do is it's going to take that $20 a day and it's going to try to find out which ad is going to perform best. And it's going to use a majority of the ad spend on that ad for as long as you leave it on, right? So it might wind up using 80% of the ad spend on ad number 2 because the ad is performing better, either basically because you're trying to optimize for that complete registration. So I'm going to publish that. So now you're pretty much ready to go. If this is all you did, you could literally start testing right away your ads to those audiences. Now, what I would highly recommend, and this is where your ad budget can obviously jump up very quickly, is I do not recommend only running one ad set at one time. Because most often what happens is all ad sets do not perform equally. And I'll even give you just a quick view of that. So I even made some changes this morning where I'm running my lead gen campaigns, and I was getting a cost per lead. You can see, am I on the right one? No, I'm not on the right one. Let me go to the other campaign. Oh no, I was on the right one. So let's see. So yeah, you can see I was getting a cost per registration of $17.55. And I had spent about, let's see, $70 on that. I reached about 942 people. So it's kind of right at that level of like, have I gotten enough data in order to make a good decision? I probably pulled this one a little soon, but my cost per registration was so high and I was getting such a good cost per registration on my other audiences that I started to basically build off of this one, right? So some advanced stuff here, but this is the reason why you guys want to be leveraging many audiences, because you can see I have different costs here with the same ads with different targeting. So I'm using a combination of lookalikes and interest-based audiences here. And then what you need to do is start following the data. And this is where Michelle can really start helping you, is making sense of these numbers. So what I would recommend is that you set up multiple ad sets and multiple sets of targeting. And I'll show you how to do that real quick. Let me get back to the deck just to recap and make sure that we've hit all these pieces. So we've created our second conversion campaign. We started with a budget of $20 a day. If this doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it. But at this level, don't use CBO or campaign budget optimization. And the reason why is that you want to try to test the targeting as much as possible early on so that you can get an idea of which audiences are working. Again, this is a little bit of an advanced strategy. Not every Facebook advertiser agrees because they'll probably suggest that you use CBO. So I won't go into that in too much further detail, but I would recommend that you try to get some data on all of your audiences so that you know whether or not you can come back to those in the future. We've entered our targeting. We've set it up for one-day click and view. And now basically what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that ad set that we just created. And this is where we're going to change our targeting. So let's go back to our test campaign, which is this one right here. And so all I'm going to do is duplicate this. And because my ads are using the ad ID, I don't even need to do anything with the ads at this point. The ads are already preserved, and all I need to do is change my targeting. So let's say that I wanted to target, let's say I wanted to target Tony Robbins. So I'm basically going to label that my targeting. Then I'm going to come back down to my interest-based targeting. And instead of, let's do Shopify and Tony Robbins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that Shopify piece here in the top portion of the targeting because it's the larger audience. And then I'm going to narrow it down to Tony Robbins. And I'm going to remove the Russell Brunson piece. And now I've got a whole new audience that I can run my ads to while preserving and magnifying social proof with the same exact ads, but just with different targeting and a different audience. And that's all you do, guys. And so you can do that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, infinite number of times. So I would recommend that you test at least 3 different audiences at $20 a day. So you're looking at starting with $60 a day in order to start getting some data into your account. It looks like my ad actually got disapproved, probably because we just set it up for a test. So I'm actually just going to go turn this off real quick. So that was pretty quick. I've been running a lot of ads through Facebook, so I get pretty quick responses on my ads. So don't worry about that too much. But so basically at this point, your lead gen campaign is ready to go, right? Your ads are set up, your targeting is set up, and then basically we get to this point of like, what do I do next? Like, what am I looking for? So we've already kind of gone through part 3 here of, you know, this is how you magnify social proof of using the exact same ads for other audiences. So at this point, your ad setup is done, guys. You know, that's it. Like I said, I know that I'm doing this like straight off the cuff, so I'm trying to do my best of keeping things simple, but there's plenty of support within the group. But I wanted to give you some exact how-to steps on how this works. So step number 3, how do you read your data? So this is where I'm going to show you how to set up your reporting in Business Manager. Oh, I guess I didn't edit this part. Bear with me. CBM. So let's do this. For this part, we're just going to go straight to Business Manager anyways. And what you're actually going to do is you're going to create an actual funnel within your Business Manager so you can see how many people did you reach, how many people clicked, how many people took the action that you desired, and then how much did it cost you. So I'm going to give you a live look at some of my campaigns. So I started this campaign, I think, probably 4 or 5 days ago. I've spent $235, and I've gotten 25 leads so far, right? So don't worry about those metrics so much as this is how to set up the funnel. So how you customize your reporting is basically you come up here to the columns tab and come down to customize columns. So let's build this out as if I were to do this live. So basically what you would do is you want, the reason that I like to build it out this way is because it shows me from like a high level, how many people did I reach versus how many leads did I actually get. So it's big to small, right? So you can see the drop-off rates, you can see the click-through and the pass-through from the amount of people that your ad actually reached versus the amount of people that clicked, and then how much. This is how, guys, you are able to see like whether you're on track with your metrics, right? So you basically come in here and you enter all these fields. Some of it's already default, but you will need to add some. So I would just highly recommend that you follow this exactly as I'm showing you. So start with reach, then go to CPM, which is next, then CPC, cost per click, then CTR, click-through rate, then link clicks, then landing page views, then complete registrations, which is that event type. Don't need this one. I don't need my leads as well. This is an old setup. Then my cost per result, which is going to tell me how much my leads are costing me. And then my delivery and my ad set name. Because I'm running lead generation, return on ad spend is not a concern at this level. So, and then just hit apply. I hit cancel because I already have this set up the way that I want it. So as you can see, it boils it down to from the amount of people that you reached to how much Facebook is charging you, how much the cost per click is, what the click-through rate is, how many clicks I actually generated, how many people actually hit my landing page. So you can see here, 25% drop-off rate from the amount of people that actually clicked versus the amount of people who actually viewed my page. Obviously, Facebook ad data is not 100% accurate, but Then I generated 17 leads, and it cost me on average of about $4.18 per lead, right? So this is how you need to set up your reporting in order to be able to start reading your data. You need to understand the data. You need to know whether or not like your ad is performing properly. So like on this audience right here, I'm getting a 1.65% click-through rate on a cold audience, that was actually combined. So 1.79 click-through rate on a cold audience is pretty solid. That's something I'm happy with. 2% would be a really good goal for you guys to reach for. And so let's just touch on what those metrics look like. So the reason you want to set up your reporting that way is because then you're going to say, well, like, what do I do next? Like, what am I looking for? So this is all while you're testing. If you're getting a 1% click-through rate, that's really the minimum. If you're getting anything less than that, I would highly encourage you to change your ad creative or to work on your ad copy or potentially even your offer. If you're getting a 2% click-through rate, that's pretty solid, that's good. And if you're getting a 3% click-through rate, which you're most likely going to see if you're using video creative. So remember how I mentioned that I'm going to be looking to add video creative next. So once I roll in that video creative using the same ad copy, I'm pretty confident that my click-through rate should go up to above 3%, maybe even 2.5% to 3%. So now you guys would know, like if you were getting these click-through rates, this should tell you that your ad is doing a pretty good job of enticing people to go to your funnel, right? And so, and then in terms of cost per leads, actually, if you're getting a $5 cost per lead, if you guys are just trying to collect email addresses at this stage, I'd say that's probably the max that you really want to be paying. $3 would be a good cost per lead. $1 would be awesome. So I'm in the process right now of trying to get my cost per lead down in the $2 to $3 range. So like this audience with this ad, I'm getting about $3.27, which I'm happy with, but I definitely would like to get that down another dollar or so. And there's some different ways to optimize that process. But overall, this is, step by step, how you can write your ad copy, set up your ads, set up your reporting, what metrics to look for, and really get you started. If you follow these steps, I know obviously bear with me because we were kind of doing this ad lib and off the cuff today. So there's some parts that I retracted on a little bit there. So just, be aware of that, right? But you guys could go in and get your ads set up and even start testing tomorrow if you wanted to, using all of this, right? And so a little bit of an expert tip here for you guys. So if any of you are wondering how I was able to get those likes, comments, and shares on those ads so quickly, basically what I did is I created a separate campaign and I selected the engagement objective, and I used a couple of the additional audiences that I had, and I just ran those for a lifetime budget of $100, and I spent that $100 in a 24-hour period, and that's how I was able to get those likes and comments and shares on those ads so quickly. And now when my ads are running in my conversion campaigns to my cold prospects, they're like, oh, wow, this looks pretty legit, right? So that's your first sell, is overcoming their resistance, right? So, these ads are going to generate hundreds of more likes, comments, and whatnot. And so, but I was able to overcome that initial objective right away. But you've got to be willing to pay for it. You've got to be willing to put the other $50 to $100 on it quick. Once you know that your ads were working, so I knew that these ads were working, then I put additional money on it, and now I've got ads that look pretty credible right out of the gate. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Oh, one more thing. If you want to have a look at my funnels, please do not copy my funnels and my copy. That would just be my big ask. But if you want to look at what I'm doing in sense of like how the offer is structured, how I'm writing the copy, how I've built the funnel, etc., go to ecomsecrets.willperry.co and audit.willperry/apply. And you can see how I have the structure set up from the ad through the funnel, right? So take take all of that with a grain of salt, you know, use it as inspiration in order to be able to help you with this process. And then use those metrics that Julie touched on from when we were all in Arizona for your landing page conversion rates. So like, for example, my opt-in rate on this page right now is about 33 to 35%. I'd really like to get that up to maybe 50%. So there's some optimizations that I'm making on that side. But that opt-in rate is pretty high. And so if you're getting anything less than 10% on your landing page, then you know that you probably have a sales message and an offer problem. And if you're getting that good 2% click-through rate from your ad, leave your ads alone, right? Work on the funnel instead. Book a call with Dave and start working on your funnel instead of working on your ads. Most often, I actually typically find that people have more trouble with their actual sales pages than they actually do with their ads. So I hope this was beneficial. It went probably a little bit longer than I had anticipated. But I hope this helps you guys. You know, reach out to me in the group if you have any questions. And best of luck. Catch you soon.